Hi there, this is John Masson from massonmusic.com. Today we're going to be showing you something about bathing a trumpet. This is pretty important. A lot of people don't understand that, particularly as a brass instrument, that they can bath this themselves. By buying a few small accessories, they can do this at home. Some of the things that you'll need will be tuning slide grease. Oops, stuck there. A mouthpiece brush, what we call a snake, and this is a long section with two bottle brushes on there. It allows us to go right through the internals and clean all the internals out. So that's what it looks like when we open it out. I prefer these ones that are actually plastic coated because they won't damage the internals of the instrument. Other things that you will need, some nice soft cloth, maybe an old t-shirt, something like that. Something that doesn't have a nap. You will need, you could use the bath at home if you wanted, but I'd suggest that you put, to immerse the whole instrument, and this is one of the instruments that you can immerse. You cannot immerse clarinets or other wind instruments, but in a brass instrument you can immerse most of it, or 99% of it. As I said, maybe even a baby's bath, something like that, that you can, will hold a reasonable amount of water. And maybe some microfiber cloths to wash. One important thing that I hadn't mentioned in our past videos is that it's probably good to do this sort of maintenance on a fairly regular basis. Once a month or even once a week you could do some small maintenance by wiping down the instrument, and something we've found which is very successful and very inexpensive, a microfiber cloth. If you cup it up like that, and any brand of glass cleaner, spray that onto the microfiber cloth and then wipe your instrument down. This will take any of the oils, greases that come from acidic from our hands. All the instruments are, what we say, they're brass instruments. They're actually brass, and then they're completely baked on lacquer. So this won't harm it, and it's a very good way of keeping it in nice, good order. So those are the basic things that you could do. One of the things that you will need to do is to make sure that you use some lukewarm water, not hot water. Lukewarm water, fill it up in your tub, and then you would pull down your instrument. Now, in doing so, we can take off a lot of the varying things. First of all, we could take off all of our valves. I won't take them all out. We can replace the bottom caps as well. These screw on as well. So you can take all three. I like to put a nice piece of cloth down, and if I'm sort of taking it off that way facing me, I would lay them all down. So there's one, there's two, there's three, and so on. And here's the caps for 1, 2, 3, and here's my tuning slide, there it is. So in other words, when I end up with the carcass, as you'll see what I'm doing now, and taking these off, I put them in their respective areas. So it's very easy for me to know where those things go back. Little trick here, sometimes some trumpets have a little stopper in here, and you may have to take the key ring out first. Or they have a little screw underneath here which stops it. So you just have to undo that, as I'm doing there, and then that will come off, pop. So that's good suction there. As I said, you replace that there, and then we have, with those out, the complete carcass. This can be immersed in your warm water, and put a little bit of washing up detergent in there. Not a lot, but just a little bit. And as I said, it's lukewarm. You take all that out, you can completely immerse the carcass of the trumpet in there. Then you would use, to go, while it's in the water, that right through the slides, through there, all the way through. There is a valve casing brush which you can get, which is a larger brush. I just don't have it here today. But there's a valve casing brush which can go in there and clean out the valves. And then you take it out, wipe it over, and dry it. So that's one of the procedures. If you notice, I haven't said to put these valves in the water. I'd suggest that you put those into a small glass with some of that water and detergent, because sometimes you may have some other felts and things like this on here which you don't necessarily want to get wet. So you can put them in there as well. Give them a swill around. They also can, you can use your other brushes as well to clean inside there as well. That's a very quick and simple way. Sometimes some of the things that you haven't seen, and if it gets too far down the track, as you'll notice with something like this as opposed to this, you really need to take it to a professional. So bring it into Masson Music and we would give it a complete bath and an overhaul. That's pretty serious. This shows you that this hasn't been done. The same as you can see here, as opposed to that. So when you've dried each of these sections and you've got it nice and clean, you'd wipe them all down. You would use then your tuning slide grease, only a small amount, and you'd put a little bit on the ends here and then work that back into each section. I'm going to do one first like that, just getting it to work, because you don't want to coat the whole thing and make it very difficult. So same way there, and then away you go, and that should line up as he says, like that, and then it will move nice and freely. This is actually your tuning slide. This is the way you would tune the instrument to other instruments, so it's in tune with itself. Then you would replace everything that we've shown. The last thing that can be immersed, and that is your mouthpiece, and there is a specific mouthpiece brush that can clean that way as well as that way. That's pretty important that you not only do it here, but you do this very regularly, because a small build-up of soft drinks, certain food materials can be caught inside there, which can cause bacteria. So that needs to be cleaned, and make sure that it's nice and clean also on the receptor here as well, because that works as a wedge when that fits into there. A very common problem is that students will go, well, they're waiting, and then of course if you've got any dirt or anything around here, then the mouthpiece gets stuck, and then you would have to take it maybe to your band director or bring it into Masson Music, as we have a special puller to pull that mouthpiece out without damaging. Don't use pliers or anything like that, because even though the metal's fairly soft, you can damage your instrument quite dramatically. I hope that's been of some help to you today in illustrating how you could bath your trumpet. Please don't let it get into this sort of decrepit sort of situation, and just keep on top of it, and it's something that you can do at home for a very minimal cost. Thanks for watching, and keep looking, because there's some more videos coming. Talk soon. Bye bye now.